Let me tell you about the time this entitled HOA Karen blocked my car in our condo parking lot for hours on end, turning a simple errand into an all-out war that ended with my perfect tow truck revenge, leaving her humiliated and the whole neighborhood cheering my victory. It all started when I moved into Willow Creek Condos, a seemingly peaceful suburban complex ruled by a tyrannical HOA board led by Karen, who enforced every petty rule like her life depended on it, from fining people for slightly overgrown lawns to dictating holiday decorations. But when she decided my guest parking spot was her territory and parked her massive SUV right behind mine, trapping me during a crucial family emergency, I had to channel my inner strategist to outsmart her without breaking a single law. Through escalating confrontations, sneaky alliances with other residents, meticulous documentation of her abuses, and a climactic tow that exposed her hypocrisy to the entire board, I not only got my car free, but forced her resignation, turning the HOA into a fairer place for everyone, proving that sometimes the best revenge is served with a side of legal paperwork and a tow truck's blaring horn. If you've ever dealt with a power-hungry neighbor, stick around, because this story's got twists that'll make you root for the underdog all the way to the triumphant end. I remember the day I first pulled into Willow Creek like it was yesterday. The sun was dipping low over the manicured lawns, casting long shadows across the rows of identical beige townhomes, each with their perfectly trimmed hedges and uniform mailboxes. I'd just signed the lease after a brutal divorce, needing a fresh start for me and my two kids, Emily and Jack, who were still adjusting to the split custody shuffle. The place looked idyllic: community pool, playground, and that promise of neighborly harmony in the brochure. Little did I know, harmony here meant bowing to the whims of Karen Mitchell, the self-appointed queen of the HOA board. She was in her mid-50s, with a sharp bob haircut that screamed, "I need to speak to your manager," and a wardrobe of pastel cardigans over floral blouses that hid a heart of pure vinegar. From the moment I unloaded the moving truck, she was there, clipboard in hand, eyeing my boxes like they might contain contraband fireworks. "Welcome to Willow Creek," she said with a smile that didn't reach her eyes, handing me a thick packet of rules. "I'm Karen, president of the HOA. Make sure you read every page. We don't tolerate violations here." I nodded politely, too exhausted from the move to argue, but as I flipped through the pages later that night, I groaned. No bikes on sidewalks after dusk, garbage bins out only between 6 and 7 a.m., and a whole section on parking etiquette that read like a military manual. Guest spots were first come, first served, but apparently Karen had her own unwritten laws. My first inkling of trouble came a week in, when I parked in spot 47 for a quick grocery run. Coming back, I found a neon pink note on my windshield. "This spot is reserved for board members during meetings. Move immediately or face a fine. Joe President." I chuckled at first, thinking it was a joke, but when I saw her SUV, a gleaming white behemoth with vanity plates reading "Ho Queen," parked diagonally across two spots nearby, I realized she was serious. I moved my car, not wanting to rock the boat so soon, but it planted a seed of annoyance. Life settled into a routine: work as a graphic designer from home, shuttling the kids to school, and dodging Karen's patrols. She'd cruise the lot in her golf cart, binoculars at the ready, citing people for everything from faded license plates to unsightly bumper stickers. My neighbor, Tom, a retired mechanic with a gruff beard and a heart of gold, warned me over beers one evening. "Watch out for her, man. She's got nothing better to do since her husband left her. Turns minor stuff into major drama." The real storm brewed on a crisp autumn Saturday. Emily had a soccer game at noon, and Jack was complaining about a stomachache that morning. Nothing serious, but enough to make me want to keep an eye on him. I had to run to the pharmacy for some meds, so I backed my modest sedan into spot 32, a guest area right by the entrance for quick access. It was empty, no signs reserving it, and I'd checked the rules. No issues. I dashed in, grabbed the stuff, and returned 15 minutes later to find Karen's SUV wedged right behind mine, bumper to bumper, blocking me in completely. She was standing there, arms crossed, tapping her foot like I'd committed grand theft auto. "Excuse me, Karen, but you're blocking my car," I said calmly, keys in hand. She smirked, adjusting her sunglasses. "This spot is for emergency use only today. We have a board meeting, and I need it clear." I glanced around. No meeting signs, no other cars gathered. The rules say guest spots are open. I have to get home to my kids. One's not feeling well. Her eyes narrowed. Rules are rules, and as president, I interpret them. You'll have to wait until I'm done. She sauntered off toward the community center, leaving me fuming. I tried reasoning with her over the phone, voicemail, texted the HOA email, auto-reply about office hours. Hours ticked by. Emily called, upset about missing her game. Jack's ache worsened. I had to call my ex to pick them up, which sparked a tense argument about my irresponsibility. By 2 p.m., I was pacing, sweat beading despite the cool air. Other residents drove by, slowing to gawk, but not stopping. Fear of Karen's wrath, I guessed. Tom pulled up in his truck, shaking his head. Classic Karen move. She's done this to me before over my toolbox in the driveway. We tried pushing my car, but the angle was impossible without scratching hers, and I wasn't about to give her ammo for a damage claim. Finally, around 4 p.m. she emerged, coffee in hand, casually unlocking her SUV. "Next time, park elsewhere," she quipped, driving off without apology. I sped home, finding the kids with my ex, who lectured me on better planning. That night, anger simmered into resolve. This wasn't just inconvenience. It was bullying, affecting my family. I pored over the HOA bylaws online, discovering forums full of similar stories. People fined for bird feeders, harassed over paint colors. Willow Creek had a reputation, and Karen was the common thread. The next morning, I started documenting everything. Photos of her improper parking, timestamps on notes she'd left others, even recordings of her golf cart patrols where she'd yell at kids for chalk drawings. I joined a local HOA reform Facebook group, connecting with ex-residents who'd fled her tyranny. One, a lawyer named Sarah, advised, "Gather evidence, rally support, hit her where it hurts, elections or audits." Inspiration struck. The annual HOA meeting was in 2 months, where board positions were up for vote. If I could expose her abuses, maybe oust her. But first, I needed allies. I knocked on doors discreetly, starting with Tom. "Count me in," he said. "She's fined me $200 for excessive vehicle maintenance because I changed oil in my garage." Mrs. Lopez next door joined too. Karen had threatened to tow her minivan over a dented fender. We formed a secret group chat, Willow Rebels. Stories poured in. Fines for holiday lights up a day late, denied pool access for improper attire. Emotional tolls emerged, stress-induced migraines, kids scared to play outside. My own frustration grew. Every time I saw her SUV, my blood boiled. One evening, she blocked me again during a quick mail run. This time, I confronted her in the lot, phone recording. "Karen, this is the second time. The bylaws state no blocking vehicles." She scoffed. "Bylaws are guidelines. I make the calls." I held my ground. "Not anymore. I'm filing a complaint." Her face twisted. "Good luck." "The board backs me." That fueled the fire. In the group, we brainstormed. Tom suggested checking her finances, rumors of misused dues for personal perks, like her golf cart upgrades. I dove deeper, requesting HOA financial records via email, legal right under state law. Days later, a reluctant response. Spreadsheets showing discrepancies, like $500 for meeting catering from her sister's bakery. Not damning, but suspicious. Tension escalated when she slapped a $100 fine on my door for unauthorized parking. I appealed, citing photos, but she denied it at a mini-hearing, her cronies nodding along. "Your evidence is fabricated," she claimed. Humiliation burned, but I smiled. "See you at the annual meeting." Whispers spread. More joined our chat. We planned flyers, anonymous tips on her overreaches, distributed at night. Karen ramped up patrols, but we stayed stealthy. One twist came mid-month. My ex threatened to revisit custody, blaming the unstable environment. Panic hit. Losing time with the kids? Unacceptable. I confided in Sarah, who suggested a cease and desist letter. Drafted it, sent certified mail. Karen's response? A counter notice, accusing me of harassment. Game on. We uncovered her SUV wasn't registered to the complex. Violation of her own rules. Photographic proof piled up. As the meeting neared, anxiety mixed with excitement. Would our plan work? Cliffhanger moments abounded, like when she caught Tom snapping pics, threatening eviction. But we persisted, building a dossier thick as a novel. As the annual HOA meeting loomed like a storm cloud over Willow Creek, I felt the weight of every blocked driveway and petty fine pressing down. But, with my growing alliance and a stack of evidence taller than Karen's ego, I knew the tide was turning toward a revenge that would not only free my car from her clutches forever, but dismantle her little empire brick by hypocritical brick, culminating in that glorious tow truck arrival that had the whole neighborhood buzzing with schadenfreude. Back in those tense weeks leading up, the air in the complex crackled with unspoken rebellion. Residents who'd once averted their eyes from Karen's golf cart now nodded conspiratorially at me in the mailboxes, slipping me notes about their own grievances like secret agents in a bad spy flick. My kids noticed the shift, too. Emily asked why I was always on the phone whispering, and Jack drew a cartoon of a giant SUV being hauled away by a monster truck, which I secretly pinned to my home office wall for motivation. Work suffered a bit. Deadlines blurred as I cross-referenced bylaws with state laws, highlighter marks streaking pages like war paint. Sarah, the lawyer from the online group, became my lifeline. Zoom calls late at night where she'd dissect Karen's moves. She's violating fiduciary duty. If those funds are misused, nail her on ethics. One evening, as leaves turned gold and crunching underfoot on my walks to clear my head, Tom and I met in his garage, away from prying eyes. He spread out printouts on his workbench amid the scent of oil and metal. "Look at this," he grunted, pointing to vehicle logs I'd obtained through a public records request. Turns out Karen's SUV had racked up unpaid guest spot overstays, treating the lot like her personal garage while fining others for the same. "Pot calling the kettle black," I muttered, snapping photos. Mrs. Lopez joined us, bringing homemade empanadas and a fire in her eyes. She told my daughter she couldn't have friends over because noise violations. My girl cried for days. Stories like that fueled us. It wasn't just about parking anymore. It was about reclaiming our homes from a bully who hid behind bylaws like a shield. We decided on a multi-prong attack: petition for a special audit, nominate alternates for the board including Tom, and prepare a presentation exposing the discrepancies. But Karen wasn't idle. She sensed the unrest, amping up her antics. One morning, I woke to find my tires slashed. Not proven, but her smirk as she drove by screamed guilt. Insurance covered it, but the rage boiled over. I installed a dash cam in my car, catching her circling like a shark. Then came the escalation. During a rain-soaked afternoon, I needed to pick up Jack from school early for a doctor's appointment. Fever spiking. Parked in my assigned spot this time, but she had her crony, a weaselly guy named Harold, block the entrance gate with cones, claiming maintenance. Cars backed up, horns blaring. I confronted him. "This is ridiculous. Let me through," he shrugged. Karen's orders. Stuck again, I called the non-emergency police line, explaining obstruction. An officer arrived, moved the cones, but warned it was civil. Karen watched from her balcony, sipping tea like a villainess. That incident went viral in our group chat. More recruits flooded in, including a young couple who'd been fined for their baby's stroller in the hallway. Emotional cracks showed in my armor. Nights I tossed, worrying about retaliation affecting the kids. My ex called, probing, "Is this HOA thing getting out of hand?" The kids mentioned drama. I downplayed it, but inside, doubt gnawed. Was I fighting for justice or just vengeance? Sarah reassured. It's both, and that's okay. Document the toll. It humanizes your case. So I journaled. The stress headaches, missed family dinners poring over docs, the way Emily hugged me tighter, sensing my tension. It added depth to our petition. Over 50 signatures collected door to door, each with a personal anecdote. We drafted it carefully. Allegations of misuse of funds, selective enforcement, harassment. Submitted anonymously at first, but Karen sniffed it out, posting flyers warning of troublemakers disrupting harmony, with veiled threats of legal action. Twist came when Harold approached me secretly in the pool area one twilight, chlorine scent heavy in the air. "I can't stand her anymore," he whispered, glancing over his shoulder. "She's skimming dues for her vacations, proof in the old records." Betrayal. He slipped me a USB drive with scanned invoices. Spa retreats billed as conference expenses. Jackpot. But trust was thin. Was this a trap? Tom vetted it, confirming authenticity. Adrenaline surged. We had her. Yet, paranoia set in. I backed up everything on clouds. Told only the core group. Karen's next move. A surprise inspection of my unit, citing anonymous complaints about interior modifications. She barged in with a tape measure, nitpicking my bookshelf height. "This violates fire codes," she declared. I recorded discreetly. "Show me the specific bylaw." She stammered, left fuming. Victory small, but sweet. As weeks blurred, alliances deepened. Potlucks in backyards masked as socials where we'd strategize. One neighbor, an accountant named Raj, audited the finances pro bono, uncovering $5,000 unaccounted for over 2 years. "Enough for an external review," he said. We petitioned the state HOA Oversight Board too, slow but steady. My revenge blueprint sharpened. At the meeting, present evidence, call for vote of no confidence. But I needed a knockout punch. The parking abuse. Recalling her blocks, I set a trap. With Tom's help, I baited her. Parked in her spot deliberately one evening, dash cam rolling. Sure enough, she blocked me again for a personal errand, leaving for hours. Called a tow company I'd pre-vetted. Non-emergency, but legal, since it was common area violation per bylaws. Vehicles can't impede. They hesitated. HOA drama? But rules were rules. Waited anxiously, heart pounding as the tow truck rumbled in earlier than planned for a test run. No, that was later. For now, I just documented. Find her via counter-complaint. The build-up strained relationships. My ex demanded a meeting, worried about custody implications. "This obsession isn't healthy," she said over coffee. Tears welled. She was right, partially. But explaining the bullying, the family's disruption, swayed her. "Fight smart, not hard," she advised. Took it to heart. Focused on legal channels, avoided direct confrontations. Karen's paranoia peaked. She accused me publicly in a newsletter of vandalism. No proof. Residents laughed it off, support swelling. Kids got involved innocently. Jack accidentally left toy cars blocking her path, giggling as she huffed. Light moments amid tension kept sanity. One cliffhanger night. Anonymous email to the group from Karen's account. Hacked? No. A warning forwarded by Harold. She planned to rig the meeting vote with proxies. Counterplan: verify all attendees, challenge invalid ones. Excitement built, sleep evaded. visualized the triumph, her face as evidence unfolded. But doubt lingered. What if it backfired? Pushed on, resilience forged in fire. The meeting eve arrived, halls buzzing. Prepared slides on my laptop, heart racing. Little did I know, the real drama was just beginning, with a surprise witness and that tow truck on standby for the ultimate payback. With the HOA annual meeting just hours away, the evidence locked and loaded on my laptop like a digital arsenal ready to blow Karen's reign sky high, I could almost taste the sweet revenge of watching her empire crumble, only for fate to throw in a massive curveball that escalated everything into a full-blown spectacle, leading straight to that tow truck rolling in like a knight in rusty armor and sealing her fate with the kind of poetic justice that had residents whispering for months. The morning of the meeting dawned gray and drizzly, mirroring my jittery nerves as I sipped coffee in my kitchen, staring at the stack of printed petitions and the USB drive that could be Karen's undoing. Emily and Jack were at my ex's for the weekend. Smart move, keeping them out of the crossfire. And I paced the living room, rehearsing my speech in the mirror, my reflection looking more determined than I'd felt in years. Tom texted, "Gear up, buddy." Harold's flipping fully today. Excitement buzzed, but so did fear. What if her cronies shut us down? Sarah had prepped me. Stick to facts. No emotions in delivery. Let the evidence enrage them. I dressed sharp. Button-down shirt, slacks, to look credible, not like the vengeful dad I sometimes felt inside. Arriving at the community center early, the room smelled of stale donuts and folding chairs arranged in neat rows, fluorescent lights humming overhead. A smattering of residents trickled in, some nodding at me with knowing glances, others avoiding eye contact like they feared Karen's glare. She was already at the head table, flanked by her yes-men, including Harold, who shot me a subtle wink, our mole in place. The agenda was posted. Budget approval, rule updates, elections. Our petition for no confidence vote was buried at the end, but we'd force it up front. As the clock hit 10 a.m., about 80 people filled the seats. Record turnout, thanks to our flyers and whispers. Karen banged a gavel she'd probably bought with dues money. "Order! Let's keep this civil," she announced, her voice syrupy but edged with steel. She droned through minutes, glossing over finances with vague charts that Raj had already debunked in our prep. When open forum hit, I stood first, heart thumping like a drum. As a resident, I moved to discuss selective enforcement and fund misuse before elections. Murmurs rippled. Karen's eyes shot daggers. "Out of order," she snapped. "But bylaws allowed motions," Tom seconded, and a quick vote passed it through amid cheers. Projector on. I launched my slides. Photos of her blocked parking, timestamps, the slashed tire incident, tied to her via security cam stills I'd subpoenaed from the complex's system. Gasps echoed as I detailed the spa trips billed as seminars, invoices flashing big and bold. "This isn't leadership. It's theft," I said calmly, voice steady despite the adrenaline. Karen interrupted. "Lies! Fabricated by disgruntled parties." But Harold stood unexpectedly. "No, Karen, it's true. I have the originals." He tossed folders onto the table. Betrayal bombshell. Her face paled, mouth opening and closing like a fish. Chaos erupted. Shouts, accusations flying. Residents shared stories. Mrs. Lopez tearfully recounting her daughter's pool ban. Raj explaining the $5,000 hole. Karen tried regaining control. "This is defamation! I'll sue!" But support crumbled. Even her cronies shifted uncomfortably. Then, the curveball. My phone buzzed. A text from a neighbor outside. "Karen just blocked the lot again. Her SUV's trapping 3 cars post-meeting prep." Perfect timing or trap? I excused myself mid-debate, dashing out with Tom. Rain slicked the pavement, and there it was, her white beast double-parked, blocking me and others who'd arrived late. Fuming residents gathered, phones out. "This proves it," someone yelled. Back inside, I interrupted. "Live example happening now. Let's all see." A parade followed us out, Karen protesting but outnumbered. The lot was a zoo. Horns honking, people slipping in puddles. I called the tow company I'd on speed dial since the bait incident. Licensed, HOA-approved vendor. Obstruction in common area, send a truck. Karen freaked. "You can't. That's my vehicle!" But bylaws were clear. Any vehicle impeding gets towed at owner's expense. Sirens wailed faintly as the flatbed approached, yellow lights flashing like justice beacons. Residents cheered. Karen lunged at me. "You'll pay for this!" Security, hired for the meeting, held her back. The tow guy, a burly dude named Mike with a mustache that screamed reliability, hooked her SUV effortlessly, chains clinking in the rain. "Sign here for violation," he said to me as complainant. Karen screamed threats, but Mike shrugged. "Lady, rules are rules." As the truck hauled away, bumper scraping slightly for dramatic effect, the crowd erupted in applause. Phones captured everything. Viral potential gold. Back inside, soaked but triumphant, the vote was a slam dunk. No confidence past 65-15, Karen ousted on the spot. Elections followed swiftly. Tom as new president, me on the board for reforms. But revenge wasn't cold yet. Police arrived for her outburst, citing disorderly conduct. She lawyered up fast, but evidence was ironclad. Emotional high hit me hard. Tears mixed with rain on my cheeks. Residents hugging, thanking me for sparking change. One elderly guy, Mr. Jenkins, who'd been fined for his walker cluttering paths, shook my hand. "You gave us our homes back." Post-tow, the aftermath unfolded messily. Karen retrieved her SUV from impound, fuming with a $300 bill that she tried billing the HOA, denied. She filed a counter-complaint, accusing me of orchestration, but our documentation crushed it in mediation. State oversight launched an audit, uncovering more. Personal Amazon orders on the association card. Legal letters flew. Cease and desist from her, but ours stronger via Sarah. My family life stabilized. Ex praised my handling. Kids bragged at school about dad versus the mean lady. Yet, introspection crept in during quiet evenings. Was the win worth the stress? Journaling helped process. The anxiety dreams of endless blocks. The joy of empowerment. Community bonds strengthened. Barbecues replaced fear. New rules drafted democratically. Karen's downfall rippled. She moved out months later. Tail between legs. House sold cheap amid rumors. But mid-celebration, a twist lingered. What if she appealed? Pushed for bylaws amendments, clear parking protocols, term limits. Taught me resilience. Everyday folks can topple tyrants with smarts. As rain cleared to sunshine, lot free and clear, I drove unblocked for the first time in ages. Radio blaring victory anthems. The real lesson? Document, ally, strike legally. And sometimes, a tow truck is the perfect mic drop. But wait, her final petty act was coming, testing if the win stuck. The weeks after the meeting felt surreal, like waking from a nightmare into a dream where neighbors waved instead of cowered. Tom, as Prez, waived my old fines retroactively, and we scrapped archaic rules. No more bin-timing Nazis. I dove into board duties, attending via Zoom when kids were home, balancing it with work. Emily and Jack thrived. Soccer games uninterrupted, playdates flowing. But Karen ghosted socially, her unit dark most nights, though glimpses of her packing boxes sparked gossip. Harold spilled more tea. She'd bullied him into falsifying minutes for years. Guilt by association hit him. He resigned, apologetic. One emotional peak, a community thank you potluck. Lanterns strung over the now open pool. Mrs. Lopez's empanadas circulated. Raj toasted with soda. To the toe that toppled a queen. Laughter echoed, stories shared without fear. I spoke briefly. We won because we united. Remember that power. Tears from some. Healing evident. Personally, therapy sessions unpacked the rage. Divorce echoes amplified by Karen's control freakery. Emerged stronger. Dating even. A nice teacher from Jack's school who laughed at my tales. Yet, Karen's last gasp, an anonymous online review blasting the complex as anarchist haven, trying to tank property values, countered with positive posts, evidence attached. She sued the HOA for wrongful towing, but court dismissed. Bylaws upheld. Her isolation complete. Old allies ditched her. My revenge complete? Almost, but reflecting poolside one night, stars out, I realized triumph was in the freedom, not just her fall. Kids asleep inside, peace finally mine. But a new neighbor moved in. Would history repeat? Nah, we'd reformed. Stick around. The full resolution's epic. Even after the tow truck hauled away Karen's SUV and her presidency in one fell swoop, leaving Willow Creek buzzing with newfound freedom like a prison break in suburbia, I discovered that revenge has a way of echoing louder than expected, pulling me into deeper alliances, unexpected betrayals, and a personal growth arc that turned my petty parking war into a catalyst for healing my own family wounds while cementing reforms that made our community unbreakable against future tyrants. The days immediately following the meeting blurred into a whirlwind of backslaps and strategy sessions, with the community center's damp carpet smell lingering in my memory as the backdrop to our victory, toasts with cheap coffee from the HOA's now audited budget. Tom, ever the pragmatic mechanic, wasted no time calling an emergency board vote via email chain, me, him, Mrs. Lopez, Raj, and a couple fresh faces who'd stepped up during the chaos. We met in Tom's garage that night, tools clanging as he cleared space on his workbench, the air thick with grease and possibility. "First order, parking reform," he declared, grease-smudged fingers pointing to a sketched map of the lot. No more interpretations, clear signs, assigned guest rotations, and a digital app for reservations, all funded by recouping Karen's misused dues. I nodded, still riding the high from watching her SUV disappear down the street. But a nagging worry crept in. What if she rallied outsiders? Sarah, my lawyer ally, had warned over a quick call. Ousted board members often slither back via proxies. Lock-in changes fast. So we drafted amendments overnight, my laptop glowing in the dark as kids slept soundly for the first time without my pacing footsteps overhead. Emotional layers peeled back too. Emily had overheard the commotion and asked at breakfast, pancake syrup sticking to her fingers, "Dad, is the mean lady gone forever?" I hugged her tight, explaining in kid terms about fairness and standing up. But inside, guilt twinged. Had my fight stressed them more than helped? Jack, oblivious, just wanted to know if we could paint the driveway chalk art now without fines. Their innocence fueled me. This wasn't just revenge anymore. It was legacy building. Word spread beyond Willow Creek like wildfire on dry grass. Local news picked up the HOA tow takedown after a resident's video hit neighborhood Facebook groups, racking up thousands of views. Reporters called. I declined interviews at first, wanting to keep it internal. But Tom pushed. Publicity shields us. Shows we're transparent. So I did a short phone Q&A, describing the blocking incidents without naming Karen outright. Legal caution. The ripple? Inquiries from other complexes flooded our inbox, seeking advice on reforms. Felt like a movement starter, empowering. But personally, the win unearthed old divorce scars. My ex, Lisa, texted congratulations but added, "Proud, but let's talk Co-parenting stability. We met at a park, swings creaking as kids played. This drama reminded me of our fights, control issues, she admitted. Raw conversation followed. Therapy speak about boundaries, and for once, we laughed about shared battles. Healing bonus from Karen's chaos. Back home, subtle harassments persisted. Anonymous notes in my mailbox echoing Karen's handwriting. Watch your back. Creepy, but I scanned and filed with police. Non-emergency report adding to the dossier. Harold, the flip-flopper, confessed more over coffee at his place. Stale cookies on offer. She had dirt on everyone. Photos of minor violations to blackmail compliance. Destroyed his copies, but it explained the fear culture. We used it to purge old files, digitizing everything transparently. Mrs. Lopez organized a cleanup day. Rakes scraping sidewalks, laughter replacing tension. I joined, sweat mixing with satisfaction as we repainted faded lines in the lot. Symbolic fresh start. Raj crunched numbers. Recovered $3,200 from Karen's impound and fines. Refunded pro rata to residents. My share? 47. Small, but principled. Twist hit mid-week. Karen's lawyer sent a demand letter, claiming defamation and emotional distress from the tow, seeking $10,000. Panic spiked. Could this bankrupt me? Sarah reviewed. Frivolous. Counter with harassment suit. We did, attaching the slashed tire cams and witness statements. Court date set months out, but interim win. Judge granted temporary restraining order against her contacting residents. She violated almost immediately, spotted lurking in her unit's window. Binoculars out. Reported. Extension granted. Community rallied with a GoFundMe for legal fees. Raised $2,000 in days. Notes like, for the hero who towed the tyrant. Humbling tears. Donated excess to a local food bank paying forward. Work picked up too. Inspired designs for clients. One, even an HOA management firm seeking reform-friendly branding. Ironic gig, channeling experience. Evenings with kids strengthened. Board games uninterrupted. Stories of my adventure edited for G rating. Jack mimicked the tow truck sound. Vrooming toys. Emily drew comics of superheroes versus rule monsters. But introspection, nights alone, beer on the porch. Revenge felt good. But was I becoming obsessive? Journaled prose charged cons. Triumph in justice. Flaw in lingering anger. Decided to mentor others online anonymously. HOA horror forum posts helping dozens. Satisfaction deeper than spite. Another layer. Old residents returned vibes, like Mr. Jenkins hosting a barbecue, grill smoke wafting as he shared war stories from 80s HOA battles. You did what we dreamed, he wheezed, oxygen tank hissing. Bonds formed across generations. Tom and I installed security cams lot-wide, Karen-proofing. Cost split? Dues lowered overall. Her house sat empty-ish. Realtor signs up, price slashed. Gossip? Divorce finalized. Husband cited her controlling nature in papers. Poetic. But empathy flickered briefly. Power corrupts. Loneliness breeds bullies. Didn't excuse, but humanized. Escalation brewed when she tried sneaking into a follow-up meeting disguised in a hat and sunglasses. Comical fail. Escorted out. Bans enforced. Laughter therapy for all. My revenge evolved. Not just her fall, but rising stronger. Dated that teacher, Sarah, coincidence name, picnics in the now-free park area. Life bloomed. Yet, a final confrontation loomed. Her lawsuit deposition where truths would explode. Prepared with allies, evidence binders thick. The tow was the spark, this the blaze. As leaves fell heavier, symbolizing shedding old grudges, I drove freely, radio on, knowing winds compound. But her desperate last play was en route, testing our resolve. The lawsuit prep consumed weekends. Sarah drilled me on questions, mock cross-exams in her office overlooking downtown, coffee stains on legal pads. Stay calm, factual. Jurors love underdogs. Role-played Karen's attacks. Admit you orchestrated. I'd counter documented violations per bylaws. Confidence built. Meanwhile, community thrived. Pool parties, sans attire police. Kids chalk art galore. Emily scored a goal, dedicated to Dad's win. Pride swelled. Lisa joined a game, family truce solid. Emotional pinnacle. Therapy, breakthrough. Realizing Karen mirrored my ex's control phases post-divorce. Forgiveness for self, too. Karen's isolation peaked. Spotted arguing with movers, boxes piling. Neighbors waved mockingly. Harold redeemed, volunteering for treasurer audits. Raj found more discrepancies. Her sister's bakery overbilled $800. Refunded. Vendor banned. State board investigated. Potential fines on her personally. Victory laps felt endless. One night, anonymous gift on my doorstep. Toy tow truck with note. Thanks for the haul. Laughed till cried. Community love. But deposition day. Courthouse steps. Nerve-wracking. Tie choking. Karen glared across table. Lawyer slick. Questions flew. I answered poised. Evidence counters devastating. She cracked, admitting minor liberties on record. Slip-up gold. Case weakened. Settlement offered. Dropped charges for apology. We accepted public one at next meeting. Forced humility. Her reading it, voice shaking. I overstepped! Cheers erupted. Revenge complete, circle closed. Post-drama, reflections deepened. Wrote a blog anon. Towing Tyrants, HOA Survival Guide. Downloads soared. Inbox thanks. Kids flourished, me too. Promotion at work. Designs award nominated. Willow Creek utopia-ish. Minor squabbles democratic now. Karen vanished. Rumor to Florida. Triumph's afterglow. Empowerment lasts. If blocked again, we'd tow united. But a new challenge whispered. Board elections next year. My nomination. Adventure continues. As the dust settled from Karen's courtroom slip-up, and her forced apology echoed through the community center like a bad echo in an empty hall, I thought the revenge saga was wrapped up neat as a bow on a reform package, only to realize that true triumph digs deeper roots, sprouting unexpected opportunities for leadership, community healing events that mended more than just parking lots, and personal revelations that turned my tow truck tale into a full-blown redemption arc, where I stepped up as the reluctant hero everyone needed, proving that outsmarting one, Karen can inspire a whole network of underdogs to reclaim their cul-de-sacs. The morning after the deposition felt like emerging from a fog bank into clear skies, sunlight streaming through my kitchen window as I flipped pancakes for the kids, the sizzle on the griddle a far cry from the tension headaches of weeks past. Emily chattered about school projects while Jack built a Lego tow truck on the table, complete with a tiny Karen figure dangling from the hook. Kid humor, keeping it light. Lisa picked them up later, lingering for coffee, our co-parenting chats now laced with mutual respect instead of barbs. You've changed, she said, stirring sugar slowly. This fight made you stronger, not bitter. Her words hit home. Revenge had morphed into growth, the emotional toll transmuting into fuel for better days. Board duties ramped up under Tom's leadership, our Zoom calls turning into in-person powwows at the newly renovated community center, fresh paint masking the old donut scents. We tackled backlog issues, installing EV charging stations with the recovered funds, launching a newsletter that's actually helpful with tips on lawn care without the fine threats. I volunteered for the grievance committee, fielding complaints that poured in post-Karen, people finally unafraid to speak. One widow, Mrs. Hargrove, teared up sharing how Karen had fined her late husband's memorial bench for unauthorized structure. We waived it, relocated the bench to a prime spot by the pool with a plaque. In memory of kindness over rules. Small acts, big impacts. Attendance at events soared. Potlucks becoming weekly therapy sessions disguised as feasts. Raj crunched data showing dues delinquency down 30%. Trust restores wallets, too. Online, my anonymous blog exploded. Cho-A-To triumphs garnered followers from across states, comments flooding with similar stories. One reader, a dad from Texas, emailed about his battle with a fence Nazi, advised him on documentation, felt like paying forward Sarah's wisdom. She became a friend IRL, guest speaking at our reform workshop. Her legal breakdowns empowering residents to know rights like self-defense moves. Emotional depth hit during a quiet evening walk, crunching gravel paths now lined with resident-planted flowers. No approval needed. Reflected on my journey, from blocked car rage to this. Divorce had left me passive. Karen forced action, rebuilding confidence. Dated teacher. Sarah steadily. Her classroom tales mirroring community dynamics. Kids versus bullies, scaled up. Twist emerged mid-fall. Election season loomed. Tom's term up, but he eyed retirement from prez duties. You should run, he nudged over beers in his garage, tools gleaming under LED lights. Me? Panic fluttered. Work, kids, no time. But group chat buzzed support. Petitions circulated nominating me. You're the tow guy legend. Mrs. Lopez joked, empanadas in hand at a planning meet. Pros, enact lasting change. Cons, spotlight stress. Journaled it out. Pros won. Campaigned casually. Flyers with before-after lot photos, promises of transparency apps, fun events like family movie nights on the green. Opponent? Harold, redeemed but green. Debates civil, focused on visions. Mine won hearts with authenticity. Voting day buzzed like the meeting that toppled Karen. Ballots counted in the center. Coffee flowing. Landslide, 72% for me. Cheers erupted. Hugs all around. Impromptu party with pizza from non-sister bakeries. Sworn-in feels surreal. Gavel in hand, once Karen's. First act, amnesty on old fines. Audits, annual. Community bloomed. Holiday lights up early. No scowls. Kids helped decorate the clubhouse. Jack's chalk art welcoming all. Lisa attended inauguration BBQ, clapping proudly. Family mended. But leadership tested quick. Budget crunch from legal fees, despite GoFundMe. Raj and I brainstormed. Sponsor events. Partner with local businesses. Success. Car wash fundraiser. Neighbors Sud Sing rides while sharing laughs. Raised 4K, bonds tighter. Personal life intertwined. Sarah the teacher proposed collaboration. School kids tour complex for civics lesson on governance. Emily beamed presenting. Deeper still, therapy uncovered control fears from divorce. Leading healed by trusting others. Nationwide echoes grew. Interview requests, podcast invites. Did one incognito, voice modulated, story-inspiring bills in state legislature for HOA reforms. Local paper profiled, from blocked to board prez. Fame humble, used for good. Karen sightings rare. Florida rumor confirmed via mutual acquaintance. Her legacy? Cautionary tale in training sessions I held. One heartfelt moment. Mr. Jenkins's birthday, oxygen tank aside, he gifted me a model tow truck for the haul that saved us. Tears shared. Generational torch passed. Dated Sarah officially, rings discussed eventually. Love from chaos. Challenges persisted. Minor disputes, like bike rack placements, but resolved democratically. Votes not vendettas. Triumph's core. Empowerment ripples. As snow flurried first flakes, lot clear and cam protected, I drove to pick up kids. free forever. But a bigger storm brewed. State audit findings on Karen's fraud, pulling me into testimony. Adventure evolved. The presidency immersed me fully. Daily emails, but rewarding. Implemented app for complaints. Anonymous, efficient. Fines rare. Education first. Community gardens sprouted. Mrs. Hargrove tending roses by the bench. Kids planted veggies. Lessons in growth literal. Work balanced. Boss flexible. Inspired by my side hustle heroism. Promotion came. Remote forever. Emotional summit. Anniversary of the toe. Hosted reflection event. Story shares. No names bad-mouthing. Healing circle vibes. Vulnerabilities out. I shared stress impacts. Forgiven. Lisa brought kids. Group hug. Sarah held my hand. Future bright. Online mentorship turned nonprofit idea. HOA help hotline. Funded by donations. Testimony day. Capital trip. Nerves steel. Detailed evidences. Lawmakers nodded. Bill passed capping powers. Name-dropping my tale anonymously. Hero status sealed, but grounded. Back home, celebrations. Karen's final karma. Charged minor embezzlement. Plea deal community service. Ironic cleaning parks. Schadenfreude sweet, but pity too. Life's wins compounded. Family vacations planned. Career peaks. Love solid. Willow Creek Model Community. Tours requested. Reflected towing Karen's shadow from my life too. If you've faced bullies, no. Wits win. But my term's first crisis loomed. A developer eyeing expansion, threatening peace. Management mode on deeper into term. Proposals flew. Pool upgrades. Playground expansion. Budgeted smart, dues steady. Allies like Tom advised. Mrs. Lopez event planned. Successes stacked. Zero harassment reports. Kids thrived. Emily debating club champ. My influence? One night, porch stargazing with Sarah, proposed under lanterns. Yes! Engagement party community-wide. Joy overflowed. Revenge's fruit. Full circle happiness. State recognition award came. Plaque on wall. Humbled. Donated prize to shelter. Developer battle. Meetings tense, but united front won. Preserved green space. Victory lap. Story's essence. From blocked to boundless. Inspire others. Your toe awaits. With my engagement ring sparkling under the community lanterns and Willow Creek thriving like a well-oiled machine free from Karen's rust, I figured the ultimate revenge had already been claimed in turning a parking blockade into a blueprint for suburban freedom. But life loves a final plot twist, pulling me into a statewide showdown where her embezzlement trial dragged me back in as the star witness, only to culminate in a cathartic courtroom victory that not only buried her schemes for good, but launched my story and our reforms into national spotlight, proving that one tow truck's rumble can echo into lasting legacy where everyday wins inspire thousands to fight their own Karens and reclaim their peace. The months after the proposal blurred into a honeymoon phase of board meetings and wedding planning, the complex's pool area transformed into our impromptu venue scouting ground, with Sarah the teacher sketching seating charts on napkins while kids splashed nearby, their laughter a soundtrack to the harmony we'd built. Emily and Jack were thrilled, flower girl and ring bearer duties assigned with giggles, and even Lisa offered to help coordinate. Our blended family dynamic smoother than the freshly paved parking lot lines that no longer bore Karen's diagonal scars. Work promotions kept the bills paid, my graphic designs now incorporating subtle tow truck motifs as inside jokes for clients who knew my tale. And the HOA app I spearheaded hit 100% adoption, pings notifying rule clarifications instead of fines. But the state audit's shadow loomed, subpoena arriving crisp in the mail one crisp winter morning, snow dusting the envelope like ironic confetti. Witness testimony required in the matter of Mitchell Apfers State HOA oversight. Karen's plea deal had cracked under deeper probes. More funds siphoned for personal jaunts. Her sister's bakery a front for kickbacks. Sarah, my fiancée, prepped me lawyer-style over dinner, pasta twirling as she quizzed, "Stick to facts. Let emotions show in the human impact." Nerves jangled. This wasn't anonymous blogging anymore. It was sworn oath under bright lights. Tom slapped my back at a prep meet. "Finish her. Prez." Community sent good vibes. Care packages of empanadas and encouraging notes piled on my doorstep. Mrs. Lopez's empanadas, now a symbol of solidarity. Travel to the capital felt epic. Train rumbling like that fateful tow truck. Laptop full of refreshed evidence binders. Hotel room solitary, I journaled the arc. From trapped dad to engaged leader, revenge's evolution into advocacy. Called the kids nightly, Jack asking if I'd tow the judge for laughs. Trial day dawned cold. Courthouse marble echoing footsteps as I entered the witness stand. Bible thump still resonating. Karen across the room looked diminished. Gray streaks in her bob, cardigan rumpled, eyes avoiding mine. Prosecutor gentle. "Describe the initial incidents." I recounted the blockings vividly. The pharmacy dash turned ordeal, kids missed events, emotional toll like weights on my chest. Jury leaned in. One mom nodded empathetically. Defense grilled, seeking notoriety, countered calmly, "Seeking fairness for my family." Evidence projected. Photos, logs, the tow video playing to gasps. Karen's slip in depot replayed, her Liberty's admission damning. Cross-exam tension peaked when she testified, blaming overzealous residents, but cracked under cross, admitting spa charges. Jury out brief, guilty on misdemeanor counts. Restitution ordered. $8,000 to Willow Creek. Probation with community service at a rec center. Enforcing rules on others, ironically. Handshakes post-verdict. Prosecutor thanking, "Your composure sealed it." Media swarmed outside, mics thrusting. I gave a soundbite. "This is for every homeowner bullied by bylaws." Viral clip overnight. My story headlining, "Tow Truck Justice, HOA Queen Dethroned." National podcasts beckoned. Did one with Sarah beside me. Our engagement announcement slipping in for human interest. Back home, heroes welcome. Banners in the lot. "Welcome back, tow hero." Party ensued, grills smoking as Mr. Jenkins toasted with his oxygen tank clinking glasses. Restitution check arrived. Voted to fund scholarships for residents' kids, Emily's college fund seeded. Wedding plans accelerated. Spring ceremony by the pool. Reforms allowing decorations galore. State bill, inspired by us, passed. Mandatory audits, term limits statewide. Invited to signing ceremony, governor's pen a souvenir. Fame's flip. Book deal offers, but declined for privacy. Blog suffices. Now with 50K followers mentored on battles. Emotional closure came visiting Karen's service site anonymously. Watching her direct traffic in a vest. Humbled, no glare. Empathy won. Bullies often broken themselves. Forgave inwardly, burden lifted. Married Sarah in bloom. Vows echoing community spirit. In blockades and triumphs, together. Kids beamed. Lisa teary. Honeymoon local. Reformed complex, our paradise. Legacy endured. Willow Creek model. Consultations nationwide via Zoom. Board term renewed unopposed. Challenges like weather damage handled united. Kids grew resilient. My tale their bedtime epics. Revenge's perfect end. From hours blocked to lifetime unblocked. Proving wits and unity conquer control. What's your bully beatdown? Comment your stories. Let's inspire more wins. Now, years layered on, Reflections deepen like snowdrifts. Annual Toe Anniversary Events. Storytelling Nights. No fines for fun. Mentored successors, Tom retired happy. Family expanded. Baby on way. Nursery in the once stressed home. Career soared. Designs for reform apps. Karen faded into obscurity. A cautionary footnote. One final twist. Her apology letter forwarded years later. Genuine regret in shaky script. Filed it away, peace complete. Triumph isn't destruction. It's build back better. If stuck in HOA hell, document, ally, tow if needed. Your perfect solution awaits. Subscribe for more Revenge to Riches tales. The trial's aftermath rippled personally too. Therapy wrapped, tools for life gained. Sarah and I hosted workshops. Couples take on conflict resolution, drawing crowds. Community garden flourished. Veggies shared. Sustaining bonds. Raj's audits flawless. Budgets boomed with events. 5Ks. Holiday fairs. My presidency evolved. Delegate more. Enjoy fruits. National spotlight led to TEDx talk. The power of parking revenge. Laughs and tears from audience. Book self-published finally. Proceeds to anti-bullying nonprofits. Kids read drafts, proud. Lisa remarried nicely. Co-grandparenting ahead. Ultimate win. Freedom's field driving open lots. No shadows. Karen's downfall, my rise. Classic. Engage below. Your turn.